Hey Eagles fans, welcome to the road to Glendale. We did it in 2017 in Minneapolis, and our quest to do it all over again in Arizona starts right now. My name is Joe Messa. I'm an Eagles season ticket holder and a lawyer. I fight for Philadelphians every day who are victims, injured by the negligence of corporations, the medical industry, and others. Enjoy this playoff special with a lineup of all-stars: Mark Farzetta, Derek Gunn, Devin Caney, Mike Missinelli, and Eagle Hall of Fame linebacker Seth Joyner. The road to Glendale runs through Philadelphia. Let's go Birds.
Welcome in, everyone, to the road to Glendale. The road to Glendale rolls through Screwballs, along with Rob Ellis and the coach, Henry Racich. I'm Joe Kraus. Great to be here, guys, for what will be our finale. But wow, in just a couple of days, Rob, it all culminates with that game against Big Red Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
It can't come soon enough. Okay,
No,
I mean,
it's
been a tough week. Like you want to smell the roses. Like I always say, like the logical part of the brain says enjoy it. It doesn't happen very often, and then the other half of your brain that's impatient, that's just bouncing off the walls. I hit a wall on Wednesday. I did. I'm like, it can't just be Wednesday. It needs to be at least Saturday. I can't take much more.
The city's been amped up for 2 months
God.
waiting for
the whole
this. We've been sitting around waiting for this big game.
Yeah.
And now it's here.
We're here, man. We took this ride as far as we could take it, and that's a beautiful thing because we are sitting here with the opportunity for a second Super Bowl in 5 years, which has never happened in Eagles history.
Well, and the unbelievable thing about that statement, if you talk to the incredible fan base and
awesome
many of the people that are here from Screwballs and then come out to Screwballs every week, everyone will tell you that the Eagles are going to roll in the game on Sunday, or the Eagles are the better team, or they have the better roster, or I'd rather have Nick Sirianni managing the clock than Andy Reid. So all of those variables and all of those statements are fueled by emotion.
Yeah.
Some of it is truth, some of it is not. How lopsided of a game will it be? Or perhaps that's a strange question.
I can't believe how. I guess let me put it this way. I believe that people have confidence in this football team. Of course they should. They're 16-3, and they've decimated everybody in their wake in the playoffs. I get that. I get nervous whenever the public is so far one way. The city is very confident, dare I say overconfident in this game. That worries me. Like, if I'm looking at a game analytically, I'm going to bet a game, and everybody's on one side of it, Joe, I usually tend to go to the other side of this thing. So I am a little bit worried because people were more concerned about the Giants and the 49ers than they are the Chiefs. This team also is 16-3. This team's, been here
quietly.
Yeah, much more recently than even the Eagles have. And it's Patrick Mahomes and it's Andy Reid. This is not going to be easy. The notion, I get people thinking the Eagles are the more talented team. I think they are, ultimately. But this isn't going to be easy by any stretch. I think this is going to be a down-to-the-wire, nerve-induced agita kind of game.
Coach, I want to get your thoughts on that game against San Francisco, because when you peeled the onion back, other than Dan Sileo on the National Football Show, you were very outspoken about how poor that offense looked in that football game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know as much as how poor the offense looked, that they played a legitimate number one defense. So for me, as a purist of the game, I wanted to see more of a slug match between them. The Eagles defense, the Niners offense, that was a great matchup while that defense was fresh. I mean, that was the highest level of football I've seen this whole year, the highest challenge for the Eagles offense. They faltered. a little bit in the first half. They weren't just going up and down the field like they do on everybody else. And it was just a battle of attrition. They wore down a defense that, because of the lack of an offense, was on the field probably 60% of the game, I would say, at least, right?
Yeah.
So I felt a little gypped of the NFC and the titanic battle that was supposed to happen, because the Niners didn't have a quarterback that could get the job done. Now, they knocked Purdy out. They knocked out the other quarterback, so give credit to the defense. But still, for an NFC championship game and their best challenge of the year, they played half of a team.
What do you make? Go ahead, Rob.
All right, and I'm not saying what everything Henry said is right on, but can we address the weasel whining, sniveling, crybaby 49ers? I didn't think there was any lower life form than a Cowboy fan.
Right.
The 49ers might have passed them, okay? I've listened to their players cry and whine and talk about how unlucky and how they got gypped. Guess what? You went into the game with your third-string quarterback who had won 12 straight. So let's stop with the whining. The Eagles knocked them out. He didn't slip on the way to the game. They didn't get into a bus accident on the way to the game. The Eagles knocked them out. And your coach had the arrogance to try to block Hassan Reddick with a tight end. Guess what? That's what you get. You're going to get your quarterback's ass lit up. And they got two of them lit up. So this notion that this was bad luck is absolute nonsense. The Eagles have been doing that to teams all season long.
I almost wonder,
crazy.
though, if it has some sort of a crazy reverse effect against the Birds, where because it became in the second half just an automatic.
Yeah.
This team really did.
Yeah. They're 8 in the box.
This team really didn't have any sort of a challenge to coming into this game.
Meanwhile, the Chiefs are in this knockdown drag out that came down to the last second.
That's what I felt gypped of. I wanted to see this team, both sides of the team, under pressure.
Yeah, I agree.
Rise to the occasion.
I agree with that.
Because that's what you want to see a team do that before they go to the Super Bowl. They haven't had to overcome that adversity. The couple of losses they had, Minshew, he's not hurts. How he doesn't get the MVP, missing 2 games and the team plummets, I don't understand that.
Right.
The whole concept or definition of what the MVP is. But I just felt, I wanted to see a classic.
No,
I think it could have,
it's a great point.
Right.
Think about this. You went 19 games, really, where you weren't in that situation. Although they kind of had to do it against Houston, but that was lost in the Philly, whatever. But, what does this look like if they're down 10 points in the third quarter? Do they have anything to fall back on? We don't know. And that's kind of the great unknown, that you could go this far into the season and not be in those kind of moments. That's the unknown, and the 2 injuries. How bad is Hurts and how bad is Mahomes? That we don't know. That part of it we can only know once this game begins. We just don't know.
So in the beginning of that game, the first drive, the 4th and 3,
yeah.
Smith gets up, quick, let's go snap the ball. I thought, why aren't they reviewing that? That's the Niners' fault again.
Shanahan's asleep at the wheel.
Yep, sleep at the wheel.
They're not rushing like that for no reason. And he's giving the signal.
The guy who caught the ball is the one saying, hurry up, let's go.
And he's giving his team the signal, hurry up. Like that right there, alarm should be going off left and right.
If that gets overturned, they punt. They don't score.
And that was 4th down. They turned it over on downs.
Yeah, that's right. They're 4th and 3, right? Their next 3 or 4 series, they didn't score. They didn't start scoring till the end of the first half.
Yep.
So that was the matchup that I was loving that game. I was like, oh, my God, this Niners defense, do they have their number? They must adjust. I wanted to see the Eagles have to adjust and go to second and third tier adjustments other than just running their RPOs and wearing people down.
Yeah.
But can the Kansas City's defense do that? I don't think they can. They're not the Niners defense. They don't have the number 1 defense.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, here's the other thing. They rediscovered the run game. Not that it really left, but the Eagles will abandon it sometimes. They rushed 44 times in those 2 playoff games apiece, 88 times in those 2 games.
That's their identity.
It's their bread and butter.
He's finally realizing it.
Yeah.
This is what.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And the other thing is the Niners' run defense was giving up 77 yards per game. Eagles rushed for over 140.
Yeah, they were tired at the end,
tainted.
though.
That's
attrition.
That's an asterisk.
That's attrition there, too, I think.
You cannot come. Your offense cannot do 3 and outs for 3/4 of the game and think your defense is going to respond.
Well, they did it the week before against the Giants, too, where they went for 248 or whatever they went for. I'm just saying.
That's a drastically different
That's
defense.
There if they need it, because they can do that against the Chiefs.
But there was a little bit of a blueprint laid out for the Chiefs on how the Niners defended the rhythm of the Eagles.
The RPO.
Now, they don't have the personnel like the Niners do, but there's another blueprint. So there's one blueprint defensively to stall them.
Yep.
And then as a game and a group, the Commanders did it.
Yeah,
and the
keep
Bears
them off the
did
field.
It. Keep them off the So it's not like Reed's a smart dude. That's an X factor that it's not getting talked about enough.
Yeah. Well, that Reed's 24-8 or whatever it is coming off of 28-4 coming off the bye. He's really good off the bye, right? That much we know. The problem is in game with Andy, and how. Like, I think they're going to come ready to play, but what happens when you have to start making adjustments with timeouts and all those kind of things? Like, Sirianni's been on point all year. All year.
Yeah, he doesn't have any clock management issues ever, really, which is very impressive for a second-year head coach. But also, the Chiefs are streaky. Like, they go in some they get in games where there's lulls of inept offense.
Yes.
And you're like, how is this possible? How can they be
Bengals game.
Yeah, they just fall asleep or something offensively. So, and you can't do that against Philly. You got to play 60 minutes against this team. But roster-wise, the Eagles have the best roster in football.
Yeah.
Depth-wise, skill-wise.
All 22 starters are healthy, too, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is like one of those years where the only thing going to stop them is them, I think.
Yeah.
And I do think I don't think they roll the Chiefs. I think they, at the end of the game, pull away a little bit. I think it's going to be competitive, but it could be a great game.
Well, what I don't want to see is
a blowout.
No, what I don't want to see is the ball in the hands of Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Running around.
Inside the final 2 minutes of the football game.
Down 5 points.
Down 5, and he's got the football.
Yep. Yeah, that's the worst guy. That's the thing. It's never over with this guy. Like, you're not going to be able to take a sigh of relief, even if the Eagles are up 14 points with 3 minutes left. It's not over with him because we've seen him do it too many times. So, I would just prepare yourself, buckle in. I hope Coach is right. I hope it's the Eagles kind of pull away and you can celebrate it for a minute and take it easy and take a deep breath. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be down to the wire.
Go ahead, Henry.
In the Eagles game, we talked before that game about how the linebackers had to really step up to cover McCaffrey coming out, Debo coming out. Now, Debo really wasn't a factor at all in that game. This week, same thing. Kelsey across the middle, those little intermediate zones. Again, the Eagles linebackers have to have one of their best games of the year.
No, you're right. And not only is it Kelsey, Jared McKinnon caught, I think he had 500 yards in receiving out of the backfield for them. He's really underrated. And the kid Isaiah Pacheco has blown up, the kid out of Rutgers, South Jersey kid. He's been awesome for them. So you're talking about two formidable running backs in Kelsey. Yeah, the receivers aren't Tyreek Hill what they used to be, but there's still a lot of weapons on this offense. It's really going to come down to what we talk about all the time. Eagles' defensive line has got to get home and got to get him on the ground. You can't flush him out. If he flushes out and buys time, he's going to kill you down the field. You got to bring him down. Like, they have to be sacks, not hurries, because he is a killer off schedule.
They have to rush Mahomes like the Niners rushed Hurts.
Yeah.
They must rush.
Yeah.
They kept him in the pocket.
Contained.
They didn't do multiple. Nobody went upfield to create an escape lane for him. They're going to have to contain Mahomes like everyone tries to contain Hurts.
Wow, really good stuff. It's going to be a great game on Sunday. The road to Glendale rolling right through Conshohocken as we are here live tonight. Hey, we've had a lot of great fans that have been out and have been part of this entire season. A lot of great experiences. We've sent a lot of people down to the link. We did our bus trip again, which was fantastic. A lot of great stuff. We got one great story coming up out of the NFC Conference Championship game. We'll bring that to our audience a little bit later on, and we'll also spend some more time getting into this game on Sunday. As Rob Ellis said, it can't happen
soon enough. Come on, baby.
Soon enough. It's the road to Glendale, and we are live at Screwballs. Back in a moment.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
My name is Fran Salerno, and I'm a managing director here at Del Valle Insurance Group. Been in the business for over 36 years, saving people money on their insurance needs. Give us a call. Let us help you custom design an insurance plan that meets both your needs and budget.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Del Val Insurance Group. Give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades, no judgment zone for credit issues, the best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
All right, back here live at Screwballs on a Thursday night.
Yeah,
it's the
baby,
road to Glendale. Henry, I think I stopped everybody in their tracks when I said the road to Glendale goes through Conshohocken.
Wow.
What the hell?
It does, too.
It does.
It's like a flashback to our other day, old days.
Yeah, you got to go. You need to go through Conchi to get to KOB,
Yes,
right?
I literally do.
That's right.
Come from Philly, yep.
Along with
you're
Rob
all right.
Ellis and the coach, I'm
Country
Joe
appreciated
Kraus.
it.
We're out here with all of our friends at Screwballs, and it is out in Phoenix. It's the final day of Media Day today for both teams, the Eagles and for the Kansas City Chiefs, and then the teams will zero in now over the next couple of days leading in till into Sunday. Sports Take's been around the horn, Rob. You've got a lot of great guests checking in from out in Glendale. What seems to be the consensus? Same as the fan base or what from the experts?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I don't think the experts view it as an easy win by any stretch, but Joe, I got to tell you, I mean, to a man, virtually every single guest we talk to think the Eagles win the game. And look, when you look at the line of scrimmage, the Eagles are better on both sides of the ball. Their offensive line's better, their defensive line's better. You know, skill position, the Eagles are better. Really, it comes down to the quarterback and the coach, in my estimation. And what Jalen Hurts do you get? Do you get the guy who maybe doesn't look like he's 100%, who kind of struggled a little bit in the 49ers game, couple overthrows to A.J. Brown, or do you get the guy who was MVP level before he got hurt in Chicago? If you get that guy, I don't see how the Eagles lose. If you get the guy who's banged up and there's some shots there deep that he doesn't take advantage of, and you let Mahomes and the Chiefs hang around, then that's how this becomes a loss potentially.
I mean, the only problem with them being favored so much is the pressure is more on them than the Chiefs, who've been there before, who will probably be a little more relaxed as a unit.
Agreed.
With the coach that has been there time and time again. And so, you know, being the favorite, the hands-down favorite through all the media and everything else, that brings a degree of pressure. Now, this team's confident, but it's young. So will the bright lights tighten some of those guys up? You know, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I look, I think the one thing I feel good about is I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to be that guy who's overwhelmed. It's just a matter of, is the shoulder right? But you're right. Quarterback with experience, coach with experience in these games versus a quarterback who doesn't and a coach who doesn't. Now, you do have holdovers from 2017, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, among
they'll
others.
calm the waters a
and
little
they should be able to chill everybody out, and they do follow Hurts' lead, and Hurts is always a steady guy. So I think that can offset that a little bit. And really, I'll tell you, a big thing is either striking first if you get the ball or holding them just from a confidence boost. I think is a total game changer, kind of like what we saw last week.
Do you want the Eagles to have the football for the opening drive, or do you want them to be on defense?
I would be fine with them getting the ball and going down the field like they did against the 49ers.
A very high first score percentage, that team.
Yeah.
That sets the tone, you know, for the rest of the game for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it quiets the crowd. Who knows? I don't know. I would guess knowing Eagles fans will be more Eagles fans, but it's not going to be like it would be at the Link. But you would quiet the Chiefs fans. And I think you would make a statement to them like, this is what you're in for. You're going to have to keep answering here because this is what it's going to be all game long.
I know his body of work is not anywhere near the body of work that that Patrick Mahomes has, but who's the better quarterback? Is Patrick Mahomes better than Jalen Hurts at this point, or is Jalen already surpassed Patrick Mahomes.
I'm still going Mahomes personally. Yeah, I'm still going.
He's the better
Mahomes.
quarterback.
Yeah,
Me too.
I need
and
to see
he's got
more.
the body of work too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot, a timeline of doing this time and time again.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts, this is his, coming out party this year, per se. So you got to go with Mahomes as far as experience, being able to deal with adversity, and even playing hurt. He didn't look too injured. He didn't look super hobbled in the AFC Championship game.
I'm approaching him like he's 100%.
You got to be after 2 weeks. You got with modern medicine and they'll numb him up a little,
little adrenaline.
Shocked Purdy couldn't come back in the game. That was nuts to me that he didn't.
Well, he's got to have surgery. That's torn.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, that's torn.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, well, then I thought he was being a little soft.
No, I give him props for even going back in there, man.
Hand the ball
even the handoff to football.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
At that point in the game, it was a shame because I was like, all right, this is done. When you saw that, they couldn't throw a pass.
Yeah.
McCaffrey's in at quarterback, and I'm like, come on,
It was a mess.
This is getting out of hand.
It was a mess.
But
I keep asking.
half, great ball.
And wondering if the way that game played out, because it had to play out that way, is that create a pitfall for this football team?
You mean karmatically? Are they
No,
because
just
of the
in terms,
woofing?
you mean in terms of testing, being tested.
Yeah, being tested,
Yeah.
being battle tested. I mean,
They were tested. The Eagles' offense was more than tested.
yeah, but
in
not
that
for
game
not
for 30 minutes.
For 30 minutes,
Correct. Yeah, not the whole game. You're right. Yeah, where they had to go against a fresh, strong defense to win a game. I mean, we haven't seen them do what we all want to see them do because they haven't had to. And you can't blame the team, the circumstances. I hear my buddies saying you can't blame the. Can't blame the game on they didn't have a quarterback. That's not the Eagles' fault, which is true.
No, true.
It's true. But, this team is that good that no one has put them on the ropes. Not a full-strength team. The losses with Minshew, I don't even count them in my head.
Yeah.
They're not deficient Eagle games. It's just, Minshew's not Hurts. But I think Hurts is going to ball out. I think this guy's
I
going
do
to
too.
ball
Like
out
I just
on
think the
Sunday.
dude's on a mission.
Yeah, he really is. He had a chip on his shoulder, and when he went into camp, he came back 10, 15 pounds of pure muscle, focused, laser focused the whole time. He's been dreaming about this since the last game of last year.
And none of this stuff is an act with this guy. Like what you see is what you get. Like he is just. I mean, it's
He's
tunnel
cerebral.
vision. He's like a cyborg, man. Like nothing affects
Vulcan.
him. All the outside. And look, all this pomp and circumstance you get there, Joe, especially this week with all the goofy questions you get, and guys are dressed up asking questions. Like some players get distracted by that. Some will go out and party and do whatever. This guy's just built.
The
different.
only time that I did see Jalen look like he was enjoying himself
When he was singing?
was Monday night.
Yeah, that was it.
Up on the stage,
he
up
allowed
on the
himself
stage,
a little bit
of buzz in the room.
Yeah.
Wait, he sang after the game. Wasn't
goofy
he singing
questions.
after the game?
He did sing. It was
It was horrific, right?
It was rough.
He obviously wasn't on the record.
Stick to your day job.
For a reason.
But that was in the moment.
Yeah.
The singing after the game on the field was in the moment. I just mean on a Monday in a not a football setting.
No, I know what you mean.
But a team setting, and it was the first time that Jalen almost was.
Yeah.
Real loose.
Yeah, I agree.
Was not that focused.
Yeah, then he
not that he needed to
No,
be.
but
I'm
then he
not
puts the
saying that he
mask
needed
back
to
on.
be.
Yeah.
But he was very relaxed and very loose on that Monday night, which I guess you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Like,
You should enjoy
let your
it.
hair down for a second.
Yeah,
It's
you should
okay.
enjoy
I
it.
mean, that's fine. Look, the other things, I don't think Sirianni, like, Dick Vermeil will tell you in 1980 he made the biggest mistake because he put the reins on these guys too tight. He didn't let them go out in New Orleans. The Raiders players went out and partied. They were loose. They were right in the game, and they kicked the Eagles' butts, right? And Vermeil, to this day, they said it was the biggest mistake he ever made as a coach. I don't think Sirianni's that guy. Like, I think he trusts them as adults that you'll take care of your business. You want to go out a little bit, go out a little bit, man. So I don't think there's going to be any of that stuff where the Eagles are overwhelmed or tight or any of that. I just don't. I really think that part is just going to be a level playing field.
One Eagle that I saw this week that I really hadn't seen him do a lot of live interviews was Slay.
No,
He is hysterical.
He's a trip.
That guy is like, I wasn't a huge fan of him because I thought he had a little attitude and a little cocky. And when the Metcalf toasted him that one game, I was like, yeah, that's a little humbling. But that guy is hysterical.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he had that kind of personality. So it's cool to see some of these guys, let loose a little bit. They earned it. I mean, the season they had, they should stop and enjoy it, have some fun in the moment. because they're going to be all business.
Yeah.
When game time comes.
There's no better.
That's the culture that Sirianni's
Totally created. Yeah, there's no two better people to look at than the Kelsey brothers, how much fun they're having. I mean, you can't have any more fun than those two guys. The mother's there, Donna, and the dad. Yeah, we were talking about this, Joe, before the show. The dad just kind of stands there.
Yeah.
Mama Kelsey's.
She's up front.
She loves it. It's great. And she's a character, man. But the dad's just kind of like along for the ride. But I think they're all going to be fine. And I think the guys, like we talked about, who were there before, will be able to already walk them through what this is going to be all about. So I think they'll be okay.
I'm just really excited to see the crazy wrinkles that Andy Reid comes up with, because he's brilliant.
Yep.
I mean, even the snow globe thing, they're running around the circle in the huddle, come out, break, and go. I mean, that's what scares me about Kansas City is the coaching match. Andy Reid, with his he has 100 screens. He has 100 ways to make a defense who's super aggressive hurt themselves.
Yeah.
Like if there's any coach in the NFL that can hurt this defense with their own aggression, it's Andy Reid.
Reid, Bieniemy, Spagnuolo. Like you're talking about a really good staff right there. If anybody's going to have
can compensate for player deficiency.
That's right. Time. If anybody's going to have counters for the stuff the Eagles have done all year long, it's those guys. And you're right. You can overcome maybe not having, if your talent deficiency is like that, coaching can get you pretty close to being even.
And another thing is the Eagles' offense is not every week adding wrinkles. They line up, this is what we're going to do, stop us.
Yep.
And that aspect of their offense is what has me intrigued defensively with the brilliance of this coaching staff. What are they going to do? What are they going to come up with to counter the bread and butter? And it's vanilla. It's the same thing. It's RPO. It's this. I suck you up, go deep. It's so vanilla, but they execute it so well that no one's been able to stop this team offensively. The only team I saw come close to that was the Niners, and they just wore down.
Yeah, I really believe, Kansas City's going to get theirs. I'm sorry. I know how good the Eagles' defense is, and I know how good they are at getting to the quarterback, but this is Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid we're talking about. They're going to score. The Eagles' offense is going to have to put up points, Joe. This is, if I was a betting man, even though I think the over-under is 50, 51, whatever, I'd probably go over.
You're going over.
Yeah, you're going to have to score. And whether we like it or not, this isn't going to look like it looked against the Giants or some of these other teams that you were able to just beat into submission.
They rolled the Giants. They're not even in the same.
It's not even the same conversation. So you're going to have to get stops. I mean, you're going to have to score because you are. I don't think it's going to be like New England where it's 41-33 and New England's got 500 yards. I don't think it's to that extreme, but you're going to have to score. The offense is going to have to do more than just pound it down their throat running and some of the things Coach was just talking about. You're going to have to. I think A.J. Brown's due for a big game because I think he's pissed off the way the last couple games have gone. He's been kind of contained. Some of it was he was, Jalen missed him. I'm looking for a real big game out of A.J. Brown.
He looks like he doesn't have that burst that he had earlier in the season.
Maybe the 2 weeks helped him.
The separation. Yeah, definitely. It helped his legs a little bit because he was a little hampered, right?
The hip. It was the hip.
So, and Lane Johnson, that guy, what he's doing.
Incredible.
He's groin surgery. Groin surgery. That's crazy that this guy is doing what he's doing with this injury.
We had him on Sports Take earlier in the week, I believe. Yeah, it was early this week or last week we had him on. He was great. And he said the ankle injury he had was more painful than what he's dealing with this. He said, don't get me wrong. This hurts, man.
Yeah, but as a lineman, you're kick stepping, you're always pushing on that foot.
But he is a badass. I mean, to not give up a pressure or a sack or a QB
it's all in the kick. It's all in the kick. It's all in his kick step.
It's crazy.
So that has to be some kind of record.
It's unreal. But to be doing it with this injury, man. I mean, it is.
He's all time.
Yeah, he is.
He's all time great.
I think he's the best tackle in the league.
Oh, for sure.
Hands down. Not right, not left, just period.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame.
I think you have two Hall of Famers on that line. Kelsey and he are both Hall of Famers. There's no doubt.
So the quarterback matchup, we got a $1.5 million salary versus a $35 million salary.
Little difference.
Now, how do they keep this bunch together? They got to pay her.
The answer is you're not going to be able to. Yeah. That's why you need to win it this year.
They went all in.
Yeah, you go. Look, you win this. And mind you, you're dealing with a cap genius. So he's going to be able to figure some things out.
And the cap got a big injection.
It got a nice
injection.
But the reality is you're not bringing all these people back. You can't bring back Bradbury, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kaiser White, Isaac Seumalo, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave. I mean, we're talking about heavy hitters. They're not all coming back. It's all the more reason why you need to capitalize on Sunday and win this thing because In that league, you never know. Think about the last time the Eagles won it. You thought, oh, they're set up pretty good. They're going to get Wentz back, and he's going to be the future and all that. In that league, man, things change overnight.
Yeah.
So you got to win it now. You got to take care of it.
Yeah, I can't believe what they put together and the amount of time they put together. And even adding like Sue and those little pieces that are down the road being significant adds.
Yeah.
Brilliant
In 2
job.
years, they were a 4-win team in 2020, and they jumped from that to 14 regular season wins in 2022. That's craziness.
I feel like that jump that they made from 4 wins, 16 wins, and it seems to me that the rest of the league got worse to me. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, is that just me? It just seems like
mediocre.
Yeah,
the East especially.
There's
the
a lot
NFC
of
is
like
very mediocre.
8-8, 9-8, 8-9 teams.
Yeah.
More than I've ever seen. Usually there's 25% of the league separates, not just 4. It seems like only 4 teams separated from the rest. This year, like significantly.
You're right, and virtually all of them are. I mean, excluding like the Niners, but they're almost all in the AFC. I mean, it's a top heavy league where it's way more AFC
Right.
good. NFC is. That's why when people get on the Eagles about their schedule, it's like, well, the league's just not great. It's not the way it was back in the day. It's just.
And that's a factor.
More parity.
This is why the Eagles have 22 healthy starters.
Yeah.
They didn't have the drag-out wars. The AFC is a war to get to the Super
It
Bowl.
is.
I mean,
right.
think about the Bengals, the Bills, the Ravens. I mean, it's war every week.
Well, the
physicality every week.
The Chiefs' 3 losses are like a combined 10 points. Insanity. I mean, even their
I'm
losses
nervous.
have been super
I tell you
tight.
what, I tend to be. I am more nervous about this game than most of the fan base.
I'm with you. I'm
I
on
think
nervous.
this game is going to be one of those games where you're on the edge of your seat.
Yep.
It's coming right down to the very end, and we're going to win it or we're going to lose
I agree.
it. But it's going to be right there.
To your point, this is one of those games like the pressure builds diamonds or bursts pipes, right?
Yeah.
The Chiefs have had pressure all year long. They've been in the battles. They've been in the wars. They're used to it. They don't flinch when things go bad. They seem to come back. And that's what I'm worried about with this Eagles team, their youth. When the pressure's coming, third quarter, they might be behind, or they might be up by a little bit, and the Chiefs keep applying pressure and fighting back. They're not used to that. They're used to pulling away,
You're right.
blowing teams out.
What
see what happens in the fourth quarter.
What is the one area on defense that Andy will look to
The
exploit?
linebacking core.
Yeah, Kelsey.
That's the
Kelsey
only.
and the
So
running
Kelsey's
backs.
going to have a monster game.
Kelsey and the running backs out of the backfield. Andy is a master screen guy, too.
Oh, God, his screen packages are insane.
He's going to screen them to death because you're going to get the pressure, and you want the pressure. Go ahead, let them get upfield. You get them upfield, and then you get your offensive linemen downfield, picking off linebackers and the secondary. Controlling the screen game is going to be
and
enormous
look for
the
Kelsey
Eagles.
to be a huge decoy in this offense because everyone's focused on him.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Yeah,
he's the guy that kills you.
McKinnon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be active for this game. He's got experience in big games. I mean, this is I'm more worried, Joe, about the tight ends and the running backs out of the backfield than I am their receivers. Way more worried about that.
I'm not the only squad within the team, within the battle, that I'm worried about is this Kansas City offense wearing down, outsmarting this defense. Yeah. I'm not worried about the Eagles' offense against the Chiefs' defense. Because the Eagles can run on any team in the league. They just proved it against the number 1 team. I'm not worried about that.
What do you mean, outsmarting? What do you mean?
Andy Reid and his
out-scheming
the defense. Out-scheming the defense and wearing this defense down. Yeah. Because they're not going to come run right into the mouth of the Eagles defense. They're going to do all perimeter stuff, quick slip screens, get the bigs running to the sidelines, get them running sideline to sideline, try to wear them down over the course of the game. You're not going to wear them down the first quarter, not the second quarter, but maybe the third or fourth if your defense is holding and everybody stays fresh. So the only matchup I'm worried about is the Eagles defense, in particular that linebacking core, just getting outplayed and out-schemed.
Something to keep your eye on. Andy really tends, we know this, to get away from the run sometimes and becomes one-dimensional. If he does start doing that and he's not countering stuff with screens and it's just straight dropbacks, that's where the Eagles could feast. They could absolutely feast if he starts getting, away from himself. So that's going to be something else to watch is just the straight-up attempts, not screens, but attempts. If that's the case, they can feast. Andrew Wiley is the weak point on that offensive line. for the Chiefs. The Chiefs are good in the interior. Their guards and their center are really good. I think their tackles are weak. The Eagles' edge rushers should be able to get home. They should. Now, easier said than done on Mahomes, but that's what has to happen in this game. I think that's going to be a big part of this.
If the Chiefs get the ball and go down and score a touchdown, you should be saying, uh-oh. If they go down on this defense and go right down the field, that's something to be very nervous about because they're not typically a fast-starting team. They gain momentum through the game. Mm-hmm. But if he can put together, because Andy's big on that 15.
Yep.
They've had that 15 done probably
forever.
for 2 weeks, that first 15 plays.
Yeah.
So, and it's all based on this Eagles team. Like they've been watching the Eagles for a month.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
Kansas
true.
City.
It's true.
Randy Reed finds every nook and cranny, anything for an advantage. No count, clap snaps, hurry up on the ball. Like he's kind of Belichick-esque with some of the sneaky stuff that ends up biting you or frustrating you in the game. So really, Reed is. They're not talking about him enough. They don't talk about this guy's
You're
IQ.
right.
His football IQ is a major reason why this team's going to be in it. They're outclassed.
I heard somebody-
they're out-talented. And they're out-speed and out-strength. But they're going to be in it because of this guy.
And I heard one expert, to your point, say Kelsey could line up and run the same play 4 times in a row. And when you break down those 4 plays, you will never see the same movement anywhere across the line.
I mean, he's
anywhere.
brilliant. Reed's brilliant.
Reed is brilliant.
And Kelsey, the thing that Travis, we're talking about, Travis, Kelsey, and Mahomes have an intuitive connection that's just unreal. I mean, if Mahomes is in trouble and he's buying time, Kelsey will break off the route and just get to where he needs to get to when those two connect. And that's where he kills you too. Like if it's 3rd and 5, Kelsey's going to get 6 and move the chains. And that's where he's a killer.
And he can't double team him.
He's great in the red zone too, but I mean, that's where he really hurts you. He keeps drives alive with those kind of plays. That's the kind of play you're used to with the Eagles, where Jalen, with his legs, will get you 6 when you need 5. And that's a backbreaker to another team. This is where the Eagles could experience that as well.
All right, good stuff. We'll take a break here on the road to Glendale as we broadcast to you from Screwballs. Glad to be here. There we go.
Great
Good
crowd.
stuff.
Great crowd.
And
All right,
Henry,
Ted.
is Patty going to talk? Did Patty say she'd put a headset on?
No, she's going to hold up signs for us. Give us some cue cards.
Because I would love to cover the story about
let's talk
Patty's
about it.
trip.
She's done. She sung the Eagles song 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Got her tickets. She's done since.
We'll get all the details.
We'll get the details.
Yep.
We'll bring it all to the audience after the break. It's the road to Glendale. Back in a moment. First Bank is a true community bank with offices located throughout eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Being a First Bank customer comes with access to personal bankers, ones who know you and your business almost as well as you do. Joe Calabro is a regional president at First Bank and has been a leader and a lender in the southeastern Pennsylvania market for over 30 years. Call their Westchester office, 484-881-3800. First Bank is an equal opportunity lender and member FDIC.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
My name is Fran Salerno, and I'm a managing director here at Del Valle Insurance Group. Been in the business for over 36 years, saving people money on their insurance needs. Give us a call. Let us help you custom design an insurance plan that meets both your needs and budget.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Del Valle Insurance Group. give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades, no judgment zone for credit issues, the best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
Wrap it up here with our final broadcast
Yes.
of the year.
Unbelievable.
Or of the season, not the year.
The fact that we're still here in February
is an amazing thing, along with Rob
Are
Ellis.
we going to the game on your jet?
And
the JAKIB jet or what?
The Krausey jet?
I thought that was our surprise
The
for tonight.
JAKIB jet?
The JAKIB
I like
jet.
the ring of that.
That'd be nice.
Airs.
I like
NFL
it.
insider John McMullen joins us. John gets on the jet tomorrow and will be out in Glendale, and then we'll get all of the great reporting from John McMullen. He'll be live with us on the pregame show. He'll be live from Glendale on the postgame show. We'll have the Monday follow-up and the preparations for the parade in the city of Philadelphia. We'll have all of that good stuff, and let's bring him in. Johnny Mac, thanks for taking a couple of minutes, brother. We appreciate you jumping on as you normally always are available. Thank you, brother. Welcome in.
Good to be with you guys. I didn't know about the private yet. I got bumped. I got to go commercial.
Strictly, caviar and people.
$10,000 a ticket.
People fanning you the entire time, John. It's going to be fun. John, if I
I wish.
if I said to you, give me one thing the Eagles have to do to win this game, how would you finish that sentence?
I think the most obvious one, not turn the football over. And by that, I mean, I don't mean you got to play it perfectly, completely clean, but, I keep going back to the fact that I've been with this team since day one to right now. So, they're 16-1 when Jalen Hurts starts at quarterback. And the one game they lost was that outlier game against Washington where they turned it over 4 times. And I remember talking to Shane Steichen after that game, and he said, you can turn it over once or twice, but not 4 times. And that's sort of where they have to be. They have to play a relatively clean game, and if they do that, I think they're the better football team, and they'll come out with a win. Now, while I say that, it's not going to be 38-7 like against the Giants. It's not going to be 31-7 like against the 49ers. This is a Hall of Fame coach and one of the best quarterbacks who ever lived. And I say that after 5 seasons. I'm saying it after 5 seasons. But Patrick Mahomes is unbelievable.
All right, biggest weakness of the Chiefs that the Eagles can exploit?
I think they have a very young secondary. So I think talking to the Eagles coaches as much as I have, I know they're going to see A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith as a good matchup for them. But Kansas City's also not that stout against the run. So one thing they've proven is they sort of take these games like the early rounds of a boxing that kind of feel out their opponent. All right, what are you trying to stop? What are you trying to take away? And then they just toggle towards what they can take advantage of. So I like that secondary. I like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith against that secondary.
NFL insider John McMullen joining us here as we are just about on the doorstep of getting ready for what will be a great game on Sunday out in Glendale. Same question, John, only opposite. What will the greatest coach, the Hall of Fame coach Andy Reid do? Who will he pick on the Eagles defense?
I don't know if you can pick on anybody. It's such a well-rounded group, but it is, the modern NFL. So you kind of saw it with San Francisco. Now, I think it got lost in the sauce a little bit because of how that game unfolded, but that group was actually playing pretty well until they got frustrated by everything that was going on. And the Eagles gave up 16 yards more than them. So they're right in that category. But in the modern NFL, if you can block people, you can score. Kansas City has a very good offensive line. Talked about Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, they have this almost, superior connection. They kind of know what each other is doing. So people say, how is Travis Kelce always open? A lot of it is just sort of being on that same wavelength with the quarterback, and a lot of it's off schedule. But the one thing about Andy Reid is 28-3. I got a tough time getting over that number, and that's what he is with a bye week, 28-3. So what that tells me is they're going to be prepared. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing about an Andy Reid team. They're going to be prepared. So, that's the test Nick Sirianni and his staff have to match.
I will say this, John, and there's no question Reid's track record, it speaks for itself, right? But from what we've seen from Nick Sirianni, and you apply this to the coaching staff as well, it seems to me they're prepared every week too, and we have every reason to believe that they're going to come out with a great game plan also, able to counter maybe what the Chiefs are doing, et cetera. Like, I don't look at this and say, oh my God, it's Reid, and look at what the Eagles are against. I think this Eagles team will also be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a short sample size. It's a smaller sample size, right? So we don't have as much data. Andy's been doing it so long, 31. That's like, a Jody on Burst 365 brought up to me, well, he's only 2-3 when the other team has a bye week as well. And, that to me is a small sample size.
Right.
Nick is 3-0. And off a bye week. So, but it's a very small sample size. I don't think you've seen the hiccups. Like, you can boil everything down when it's that small. Take the Kansas City Tampa Bay Super Bowl. Well, now it gets lost, and everybody forgets. Okay, they lost their left tackle in the AFC Championship game to a torn ACL. And the right tackle, that was Eric Fisher. Mitchell Schwartz was already out. They had both of their starting tackles miss that game, and they couldn't block him. And that's where I say, if you can block people, and that to me is the most interesting matchup in this game, because we know how good the Eagles' defensive line is. You know about the 70 sacks, 78 if you include the postseason, the depth. But that Kansas City offensive line, they're in the conversation. The Eagles have the best offensive line in football. But they're in the conversation for having the second best offensive line. That's how good that group is. So that, to me, is probably going to be the deciding aspect of this game. You always talk about the trenches. Kansas City's offensive line against the Eagles' defensive line. I think that's where the game's going to be, won or lost.
NFL insider John McMullen jumping on the road to Glendale, our special broadcast here tonight at Screwballs. Johnny Mack, we'll see you in Glendale, brother. Appreciate it. And we will not ask you, Johnny Mack, for your pick on who's going to win the game along with your final score, because you'll have to tune in to the Road to Glendale pregame show on Sunday.
There you go.
Johnny Mack will be in Glendale. We will be down at Ocean Casino for the Road to Glendale pregame show. Johnny Mack, great stuff, brother. Thank you, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, John.
All right, good stuff from John McMullen. Rob, I'll toss it over to you. Yeah. I'm going to jump off headset for a moment.
Okay.
I'm going to patch in Dr. Bruce.
Right.
We'll get him dialed in just a moment. And then we'll roll on, and then we'll get into a break, and we have one segment to go.
All right, yeah, so I'll ask you this, Coach. If let's say you're looking at it from an Eagles perspective, game planning against this Chiefs offense. We know what they bring to the table. We know it's Mahomes. We know it's Kelce. We know We talked about the guys out of the backfield, how dangerous they are. How are you approaching this with let's just say the linebackers? What are you looking for from them? What are you looking for them to maintain, or the edge guys with contain? How do you go about this? What's the game plan here to not let them kill you?
The game plan that the Chiefs, the Eagles will have to employ against the Chiefs is very similar to what the Niners did against Hurts.
Okay.
Now, Patrick Mahomes, when we say he kills you with his legs, he's not killing you with his legs the way Jalen Hurts is killing you with his legs. Jalen Hurts kills you vertically up the field. He runs around and buys time for all this magic to happen between him and Kelsey.
Yeah, he's not. It's like Russell Wilson used to be. He'll buy,
yes,
then make the
and he'll get people breaking and streaking off of routes, people doing comeback routes. So that contain that steady pressure where you contain outside in and condense the pocket on him. Condensing the pocket makes the greatest of greats nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't get to him, you just contain him and condense to make him get rid of the ball.
And you have good coverage downfield with the Eagles cornerbacks.
Yes.
So he wouldn't have anywhere to throw.
So with the containing of him and the coverage, proficiency you have from your secondary, it's really then up to the backers to pick up the trash that comes out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to keep the drives alive. Him buying the time. Anything deep, he's going to buy time. He's not going to have time to sit back there in a pocket for 5 seconds while somebody runs.
Yeah,
a
not
go
with
route.
this defensive line.
No way. So that steady, like the Niners played. That's what I mean. That first half. I know the Niners end up losing by 3 scores, whatever. But that first half of football, quarter and a half, they play perfect football against the Eagles.
Yep.
So that Eagles has to do that same thing against Mahomes because he's a very similar quarterback. Mahomes doesn't take off and run as like he used to.
No.
He's just buying time for other guys to take those hits. But that's how they have to do it. Let the line be a slow, tightening vice as they come in to condense the pocket, and the backers just pick up everything coming out of the backfield.
And that's what makes him so great. He can make a throw with any arm angle. Sidearm,
around people,
no look,
through legs,
around.
his back.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a lot of ways, it looks like, oh man, this guy's just out there ad-libbing, but he's so brilliant at it that he can do it.
It's part of his repertoire.
Right. Any other quarterback tries that, it's an interception or a pick six.
Any other quarterback that does a sidearm throw, they say that's a Pat Mahomes throw. Like he has throws named after him pretty much because of how relaxed he is. He's like a backyard football kind of guy. He's like a Brett Favre in a lot of ways.
And not quite as reckless.
Yeah, Brett Favre throws three on one. He's throwing a ball up.
Yep.
It's praying for something to happen. But he doesn't give up a lot of turnovers. Just very wily, smart, very athletic, and I think he's going to be 100%.
I agree.
I don't. That high ankle sprain, we're 3 weeks after the fact.
I'm with you.
And he performed well in the AFC Championship game when I thought he was going to be even more hobbled than he was, especially after seeing the play and how his leg got bent.
Totally.
It's like you grab your own leg when you see something like that happen. But no, it's the IQ that he's dealing with. These guys, they're always going to be calm no matter what's going on. And that calm resolve that the Chiefs have is, to me, I know the Eagles are the better team.
Yeah.
I know roster, you match it all up. They're better. But that experience has a lot to do with the lights.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff from the coach and Rob Ellis. Krausey here as we bring you the road to Glendale from Screwballs and King of Prussia. We go out to Glendale where the good doctor, the sports doc, is joining us. Dr. Bruce Grossinger's out there. Doc, are you with us?
I sure am.
Great to have
Joe,
you.
how are you guys doing tonight?
We're fired up, my friend. We are out in where the road to Glendale rolls right through Screwballs and King of Prussia, man. And thanks for taking a couple minutes.
Up,
I know Rob has a few questions on injuries. First, let me just get your vibe. You attended the what was the last Eagles press conference today. Now the teams go back to work and the media is now isolated away from the players. But tell me a little bit about Jalen. What was he like on the podium, Doc? What did you see?
Well, Jalen was just the way you would expect to be, completely poised, very humble. Some of the highlights of Jalen's interviews were that he's not involved. He doesn't really care about the results. He's all about the process. And when Nick Sirianni was interviewed, said, what would make Jalen happy? So everybody in the room thought, well, winning the Super Bowl. But he didn't say that. He would say he is never happy. He's in relentless pursuit of excellence. And I think that was the theme of the interview today.
That's him. That is him. I think that describes him to a T for sure. Doc, let me ask you, we hear ankle sprain, and coaches is talking about, we all saw how awkwardly, Mahomes went down 2 games ago, but we also saw him gut it out the next week and still be able to make plays with his legs. He now gets 2 weeks to let that thing heal up even more. What's your expectation from what you're seeing and the way he's moving around to what capacity are we going to get him on Sunday?
It's a great question. I would think of it as a calf pull. People are more familiar with, like, when your calf pulls, essentially you tear portions of your gastroc. That's the injury. And a couple weeks, 2 weeks is a lot. So he's getting a lot of physio. And from what I've seen, at least in some of the tape, Patrick Mahomes looks like he's about 90 to 95%. And the thing about Mahomes is you got to put him on his back. I just was speaking to Josh Sweat, who's a very nice guy. We just did some individual interviews. And not that he needed my coaching, but I say, Josh, you got to put him on his back.
Yep.
Because when you flush him out of the pocket, he actually completes a higher percentage of passes.
He prefers that.
And I had a chance to interview Lane Johnson as well, so we got really fresh about 5 minutes ago. I could give you an update on Lane.
Sure.
So Lane was talking about his adductor, and a lot of times people think of a sports hernia, but the adductor is a tendon connecting the middle part of the thigh. And Lane said that it's feeling much, much better, and that it was maximally painful after the Giants game. Didn't hurt him as much after the 49ers game, but he's feeling really good now. And because the adductor really holds the medial part of the torso against the thigh, he's learned how to adapt for the injury, and he's much less gun shy. And that was very encouraging to hear.
That's awesome. That's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's big time. Well, let's go to the other one then. Let's go to the shoulder here with Jalen Hurts. And Jalen, we know, is as tough as they come, but even he'll tell you, look, it's not 100%, but I'm dealing with it. I'm good. I'm out on the field. Any idea from some of the people you've talked to about the severity of this thing and what percentage is he going to be on Sunday?
Well, I think that there's really a two-part injury. They really spoke about the sternoclavicular strain, but I believe that there's also a muscular rotator cuff part of it. Particularly look at the way he was throwing in the last few games, not being able to get the trajectory, even overthrowing rather than throwing a normal trajectory ball. So from all accounts, he is slowly improving, and he certainly used the extra time well, and he's never going to admit to anything. But I believe he's going to need a lot of rehab after the season. One thing, Rob, you didn't hear about is the MRI of the shoulder. They don't disclose that, but I believe there was some rotator cuff pathology in addition to the sternoclavicular strain.
Sports Doc, Dr. Bruce, joining us here for a quick report from out in Glendale. Doc, appreciate you jumping on our Road to Glendale special. Good stuff. We'll check in more with you when we can get you. You've got a busy week leading into the game on Sunday. Bruce, appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Krausey. Thanks, Rob. Have a great night.
Take care.
All right, good stuff from Dr. Bruce. We'll take a commercial break and come up, and we'll finish it up on the other side with a very, very, very special guest and a special story. Back in a moment.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
And back here on our special Super Bowl edition of Road to Glendale. Rolls right through Screwballs and King of Prussia. Special thanks to Dr. Bruce for joining us. Special thanks to NFL insider John McMullen for joining us. And a special thanks to our final guest who is up on set with us, Christy Wynn, right? And
Yep.
Christy, you are getting ready first to leave to go to Glendale, right?
Yes, I leave tomorrow night at 8:20.
Wow. All right.
Nice.
So how excited are you about?
Really excited.
Yes.
We're really excited. We can't wait.
All right. So let's set the stage for our audience. You attended the conference championship game with Patty, right?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So pick it up from there. Pick up the story from there.
Okay, so I went to the last 2 playoff games. The first one I won from Lisa's Army. They had a raffle, and it was like $25 a spot, so I put $50 in and won out of like 3,000 people.
Well, your last name is Win.
My last name is Win.
That's
So
it.
we're very lucky.
Yeah.
We're really lucky. And then the last one, Patty actually came to Screwballs and sang Fly Eagles Fly, and she's like, hey, I won the tickets, we're
Dressed
going.
like a chicken. I mean,
she was
dressed like an
a
eagle.
bird.
Yes, I mean, that needs to be in the story. Yes.
Yeah, so she was dressed like a bird, and she sang Fly Eagles Fly, and she won, so we went.
Right.
It was awesome. It was definitely really high. We froze our butts off, but it was totally worth it. We ate cold chicken and Pete's fries and everything.
Well, how did this come about that you're going to the? First of all, you're the good luck charm, number one.
Yeah.
So you have to be at the game, number one.
So yeah.
How
they
did this
had-
happen?
How many? It's what? 2 games that they lost.
In regular season.
You were not there?
Well, yeah. So I actually was in the hospital for both of those games that they lost.
Oh, without Hurts, yeah.
So
okay,
I was
got
like,
you.
yeah, it's
Yep.
pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going through cancer. I have breast cancer. I had 16 rounds of chemo.
Wow.
I did 12 for the first straight week. It was every week for 12 weeks. And then the last 4 were called the Red Devil. So they are the ones that took me in. I was out for Christmas. The breast cancer started because my daughter had bumped me in with a toy in my chest, and I thought I broke a rib. And I went to my gynecologist, and it ended up being cancer. When I went in to get a mammogram, ultrasound, everything, it ended up being 3 spots. So it was crazy, but
Now
yeah.
you've completed your rounds.
I
now?
just completed on January 26th, so
Okay.
I've done all 6
All
years.
right.
Yes.
That's great stuff.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are a warrior.
Thank
you
you.
are a true
Thank
warrior.
you. Yeah, it's awesome. So so then my neighbor actually put everything together with Fox 29 News and was like, hey, we want to share your story. We want to help other people go get a mammogram. The people that, I'll get it next year. Go.
Right.
Definitely go get it.
Right.
He ended up doing all this stuff, and then they were like, you need to put a GoFundMe. We want to send you to the Super Bowl. And I was like, no, I don't want any of that.
Right.
Next thing I know, it's $2,000, $5,000, and then it was $18,000, and they were like, all right, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
That's a great
So
story.
we booked our tickets, and then today we actually found tickets, so we're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh man, how great is that?
Section 123, row 20.
Wow.
Now here's
Now they're going to win. That's just affecting
That's
all
it.
the
It's a
Vegas
done
odds.
deal. It's a
The
done
Vegas
deal.
odds have to be
here's
moved.
why
Yeah.
here's why that's a good section for Christy to be in.
Yeah.
123 is on the Kansas City Chiefs sideline.
But she's going to wear this red Hit That Joint shirt. Blend in like a Chief fan.
So-
and all of a sudden,
Our good luck charm, the Eagles'
it.
good
Their
luck
side.
charm,
She's our secret. Our
will
little
be
spy.
right there
Yeah.
in 123. And,
123.
and what row?
I think it's row 20, actually.
All right, that's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Great
Yeah.
seats. It's a
Yeah.
great,
Incredible.
It's a great stadium. And I have to say to you, Christy, I think it is absolutely amazing that you can sit with us on set right now, share your story with a beautiful smile and plan for what will be an incredible weekend.
I can't wait. I think it's going to be awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was good stuff, everybody.
Yeah.
Big round of applause.
Yes, Christy.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, so Christy.
Go Birds.
Yes. I think the best way with Christy up here to end our broadcast tonight is with the fight song, which Christy will lead.
Christy's the leader, yes.
All right, and then everybody here in Screwballs tonight.
Let's blow it out.
We'll blow it out. Chris will film it. Nick will play the audio. Matt will edit it, and then we'll have a great send-off.
It's a team effort.
All right?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Which song?
The fight song.
The fight song. You ready, Nick?
Stop it. 2, 1.
All right. Everybody in the
Here we
bar,
go.
come on.
Eagles fly on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles fly. Score a touchdown. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Hit 'em low, hit 'em high. Watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles fly. On the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
All right. That's gonna bring a close to the show. The road to Glendale. Christy Wynn making
Christy.
her way.
I'm bringing home the win.
Bringing it home tomorrow.
Yes, you are.
Making her way to Glendale tomorrow. We'll look for Christy in section 123.
Yes.
All right. On behalf of Rob Ellis, on behalf of the coach, and everybody out at Screwballs tonight.
Thank you,
Go
guys.
Birds, everybody.